Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, college football fans across the nation and around the world. This is Tim May with the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall. Clay?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk some football. Let's talk some more football. Let's talk Dom Tiberi, our good buddy. Ohio State has the weekend off. That doesn't mean you and I have the weekend off.
We're not idle.
We're never idle. You're doing all kinds of things. I'm doing all kinds of things, including this really big show, and enjoy it. I've been enjoying my time with you, but we're going to talk a little bit of, maybe a couple, 3 games we're going to be watching this weekend of repute. I have an extended interview with my good friend, your good friend, Dom Tiberi, that's coming up soon after we do this introduction. But real quick, out of the gate, Ohio State, the number 1 team in the country, has the weekend off. As a matter of fact, Ryan Day is letting the players be off on Friday and Saturday before they reconvene on Sunday and get ready, not just for their first Big Ten game of the year, not just for their first road trip of the year, but for a Big Ten game road trip all the way to Seattle and playing the University of Washington, the farthest I think you can travel from Ohio State. Yeah. In the contiguous 48 lower states, contiguous 48 of the United States, and still be in the United States of America to play a conference football game.
You don't think L.A.
No, it's not farther.
It is not further.
No, it's not farther.
Going to Oregon last year was 4.5, 4:45, maybe close to 5. Seattle,
maybe 5.5. It's not that much farther, but it's farther.
All right.
Because it's way up there in the corner.
It is.
Proceed. That's why it would have made sense for Washington to join the ACC so he could play a game against Miami. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah. That's 2 flights.
That would be 2 flights.
We're going to land in Kansas City, and then we're going to deplane, catch the second lap.
Deplane.
It's deplane.
That means get off the plane, not here comes the plane. But we digress. But Ohio State, working on some things, getting their, obviously working on their red zone offense, which kind of let them down 3 or 4 times. And the last time we saw them play against Ohio University, of all people, they moved the ball 500 to the tune of 572 yards, but those last 5, 8, 7, 10 yards were kind of tough sledding for Ohio State for some reason. Mainly it was malfunctions more than it was what Oregon was doing. And I went back and watched the video because that's how messed up I am as a person. I watch video of all kinds of things, but really several of the snafus there in the red zone were sort of Julian saying being a little bit reluctant to pull the trigger when things were open, and he just maybe didn't feel comfortable about it and stuff. But that's, it's better to be safe than sorry. First year starting quarterback. And he did suffer 2 interceptions in that game. One was a really weird falling ball coming out kind of thing, which I still claim should have been a fumble, but it was what it was. Didn't matter. Ohio, you still ended up with the football, right?
Were you surprised that he went on the first one and then he said, I got to get points?
Yeah, he said, you got to swallow your pride. I mean, that's what we were talking about Ryan Day.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they did. And, if you just keep racking up the points. I mean, Jeremiah Smith scored enough points against Ohio U to beat Ohio U with the end-around touchdown and also the long bomb. So he got on the board in a couple of different ways. And Carnell Tate, of course, they had the big ball to him. And of course, we saw the emergence of Bo Jackson, the freshman running back, who we think just the way Ryan Day drops hints a lot. I've been around him for 9 years now, going on 9 seasons. He drops hints. And the hint when he just talked about, hey, some things, I'm paraphrasing, but some things are just obvious, even to football coaches. Hey, maybe this guy's pretty good, right?
Yeah, Bo has talent.
Yeah. And of course, that's also to get the giddy up going with C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples, the upperclassmen in that running back room. But Bo Jackson's going to play a lot. I mean, that's without a doubt. I think you agree, right?
Has to. Yeah, and he may be the lead dog right now, but a coach is not going to pronounce 1, 2, 3.
Right.
We're going to play them all, pair and a spare. Got to have them all ready. 16, 17 game season. So we shall see. Are you going to watch? Are you ready to move on to this week's viewing?
No, just one more quick thing. I wanted to make a point. You're talking about on television. Yeah, I want to come back and talk about that at the end of the show. But, 4 games I've got my eye on this week. I'll just give a preview. Illinois at Indiana. Are you kidding me? This could be a major college football playoff game right here from the standpoint of when it comes down to the committee making choices at the end of the year. Florida at Miami, major game for Florida and their head coach, obviously, because
Napier needs that one.
We've seen 2 teams already fire their head coaches. Are you kidding me? Virginia Tech and UCLA, Michigan at Nebraska. We'll get into just save your take on that. We both have interesting takes on that. Okay. And then Washington at Washington State. Washington State, I think, is 2-1. Washington's undefeated, 2-0. But the bottom line is, of course, Ohio State's playing at Washington next week. So you got to eyeball Washington this week to see what they're up to. Because who doesn't want to win the Apple Cup in the worst way? That
quarterback, Damon Williams, you got to see what he can. Yes, he's supposed to be Kyler Murray 2.0. We shall see.
Absolutely. But you know what? Let's get first to my conversation I had with Dom Tiberi. We did it at Channel 10 /97.1 The Fan Studios this morning as you and I record this show. And I had already done 3 hours of radio on the morning show there, filling in for Tyvis Powell. And
this guy still has juice right now.
Yeah, I still have juice, man. You got that right. I wish I could drink it. But the bottom line is, I've known Dom for 50 years. You've known him since you've been in Columbus because you were competing against him
31
at Channel 6/28 for those many years.
Can I give you a quick?
Wait, well, let me just say, but I mean, the thing about before our intro, the video, I will just preface with this. It went off the rails right from the get-go, which always happens with Dom and I. All of a sudden, we're talking about sharks. But you got to know Dom to really understand his curiosity when it comes to sharks. But I'll leave it at that. He even caught one time off down at Hilton Head, where he's had a condo forever. On one of his few vacations he gets to take every year. But yeah, Dom has a fascination with sharks, which will come through from the beginning. But we also talk in depth about Ryan Day and his association with Ryan Day, heck, even my association with Ryan Day. But we didn't get to one point in it because Dom and I are, he may be joining us in some form or fashion down the road when all is said and done. It's not all said and done with him at Channel 10 by any means. But he lost his daughter, Maria, to a tragic auto accident in 2012. 2012. I do believe I have the date right, the year right, and hit us all really hard. And we didn't talk about that because, we'll get to that.
A separate show.
We'll get to that at another time. But what he's done in her memory is, I think, so laudable. I think you agree, right?
Yeah, I by the way, I went from in 95, this was my relationship with Dom. And then
he's feigning. Yeah. Those of us who are just listening to the audio version of this, he's feigning like being a boxer.
Boom. And heck yeah, man. He's competitive. I'm competitive. But after that date in 2012, it's become this. And I just love on him because I just can't imagine.
Nope.
And what he's done to pick himself up and his family and his tribute to his daughter with Maria's message, it transcends everything he's done on television, in my opinion. And yes, it is done, certainly publicized but I think that will be Dom's legacy. Because as you said, his Maria's message may go statewide.
Yeah.
And the simulators and the money he has raised to combat distracted driving, I give it up to him. I don't know if I could have done that.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, he wanted something in her memory that would stick because for a lot of reasons, he's got 2 other children. He's got some of the prettiest grandkids I've ever seen. I mean, his grandsons are pretty. You know what I mean? I don't know, who knows where that came from. My grandsons are extremely cute and stuff too. I don't know where that came from either. It had nothing to do with me. But the bottom line is, it's like he's such a family guy. He loves everybody. He likes being Dom Tiberi, though. Make no mistake about that. He really
likes to cook.
Yes, and he wants to do everything for you. I mean, he's done. He's cooked for every coach that's ever been at Ohio State. He's cooked them up something, sometimes a lot of things, and they appreciate it. And of course, he's hosted the coaches show for Lowe these many years, going way back. And of course, when you do that, you develop a relationship with the coaches that you and I, probably never either appreciated what he was developing there, but also understood. But he makes no bones about basically being pro Ohio State. But I guess in a lot of ways I am too, because I've always said I'd rather cover Ohio State football than about 80 other schools out there, because they're winning and they're going places most of the time. Right. And there's always enough drama with Ohio State football every so often, whether it be a year or a week, to keep you on your toes and, remind you that you are covering a team. But it's always fun when the team you're covering is winning. Agreed?
For sure.
And then, so we got into like his conversations, with Ryan Day over the last couple of years, but especially last year at the end of the season, the regular season, when Ohio State lost for the 4th straight time to Michigan. But just his admiration of the way Ryan Day handled that affair. And it's tough, man, on the families. And just what we both think of Ryan Day. I mean, Ryan Day is a cut above in so many things. And
just
and the fact of maybe having and it wasn't just his doing, but the horrible game plan, whatever you want to call it, they had for Michigan last year from an offensive standpoint still puzzles me.
No doubt.
But that's
unbelievable.
That's water, as a late great Earl Bruce used to say, that's water under the dam. So we move on with that. But obviously Ryan Day wants to beat Michigan in the worst way and the best way, whatever way it is that he wins. He wants to get that done this year and stuff. But one more, do you want to add one more quick thing about Dom before we move?
He's engaging. He's
yes.
But when I moved here in 95, and I'm looking at this behemoth a juggernaut over there across town, Legacy Station. And they plucked Tim May as well, who has been his confidant and sidekick for years and years and years.
Wall-to-wall sports and a couple other things.
You are the most senior. You are the dean of the Buckeye press corps.
Dean Wormer.
And so, I was like, how many advantages do they have? How in the heck are we ever going to compete? And we just, anyway, he made me better. And we made a run, and we had a show, and 26 1-hour shows every year. And so you're always battling their access and their this and their that. I felt like when
good looks, you're always battling my good looks.
Well, that's a given. I felt like they had 15 people over there. And once we started, mixing it up, and they would have producers calling us, hey, what are you shouldn't have run this, that, or the other. And I was like, they're watching. Okay. They're taking notice. We're going to keep on going. So he and Moose, and you got to give Moose, Paul Spahn, as I told you, I think a couple of weeks ago, he made my Rolodex better. But the contacts, it's all about contacts and your relationships. And I went to school on them. So
yeah.
Again, thank you for making me better and for giving me 31 years in C-Bus.
Yeah.
It was fun.
By the way, I just played golf again with Moose earlier this week. He's doing well as he's coming back from a couple of challenges, and we're going to play golf some more. And you're going to be part of our. You got to be part of our group eventually.
I think I'll be your
right.
I'll be your caddy.
Right.
And you'll pay me $50.
Well, you could drive the cart. You could drive the cart.
But
you've got to get that. You've got to get that. My dog. I'm trying to develop my black lab, who's like 6 years old. I'm trying to develop it into a golf ball seeking.
Oh.
Like you have a pointer.
No doubt.
When you're going hunting or a retriever. I'm trying to develop him into go finding my lost balls. And so we'll see where it goes. Birdie.
Sniff.
Birdie.
Go get him.
Birdie is man, he could be in that dog Olympics. But I digress. Let's get to my conversation because we digress also. Let's get to my conversation with the incomparable Dom Tiberi. Hey, Dom Tiberi, finally, the Tim May Show lands a big fish at Dom Tiberi.
I don't know that I'm a fish, but I appreciate
If you were a fish, you'd be
a shark.
A largemouth bass.
I'd be a shark.
You'd be a largemouth bass.
No, I'd be a shark.
You'd be a shark.
Because the sharks are the baddest animals in the ocean. That's why I don't get in the ocean.
I know. But you know what?
Because you got stuff. You all right?
Some of those sharks can come up rivers. Those bull sharks.
Let me tell you what. I told Tim, ladies and gentlemen, the bull shark has more testosterone than any other animal in the animal kingdom. They're very aggressive. They love to live in 2 to 3 feet of water.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
And they are the only shark that can live in either fresh or salt water. They have swam up the Mississippi River, and they caught some up in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The original Jaws thing was based on a shark going up a river, I think in New Jersey, right, or somewhere where.
And they think
what's a shark doing here?
Yeah, they think it was probably a bull shark in New Jersey, but the great white. You don't mess with the great white. That's a bad boy now.
I think everybody knows that, though, Dom. You aren't really breaking a lot of ground.
No, but I'm not getting in the ocean.
I think we all, one of our favorite lines growing up was, I think
we need a bigger boat.
We need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
One of the great lines in any movie ever.
Ever.
Just like in Rudy.
Do you remember the first time?
Just like in Hoosiers, I'll make it.
Do you remember the first time you saw Jaws?
Yeah. Let me tell my story and then you tell yours. Me and a buddy of mine from the Lufkin News, we worked that morning, and then we went to the matinee at the Lufkin Twin Cinemas down at the Lufkin Mall back in 1970, whenever it was. What would that have been, 74?
I was a sophomore in high school.
73 or 74? 74?
Yeah.
Anyway, the only seats available were on the very front row. And so I'm sitting there, and there's 2 little kids sitting next to me, and my buddy Ken Herman sitting over here ends up winning a Pulitzer Prize, by the way, for stuff he did at the Lufkin News. But the bottom line is, we're sitting there, and when the shark came out of the water the first time, I went, ah! And the 2 little kids sitting next to me started laughing. So, I remember the first time I saw Jaws.
I didn't know anything about it. Like I said, it was the summer, and I want to say, you're probably right, 74, whatever.
75, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. And I was caddying for Wake Forest's golf team. What happened is, they had the NCAA championship at the OSU Scarlet.
Yeah.
It was the last year they allowed caddies. Well, Jimmy Crum went on the news back then and said, hey, they're hiring caddies to, work this. So I signed up for it, and luck of the draw, I got a Wake Forest. And I got a guy named David Thor, who was my golfer. I'd never caddied a day in my life, and I go to the Scarlet. And also on that Wake Forest team was a guy named Curtis Strange and Jay Haas.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning the national title, Wake Forest. I got a nice bonus and all that. But I'll never forget the first day of the practice rounds, these guys were all talking about how the night before they went to see this movie called Jaws. And that they were still and I'm like, here. And my cousin, he was also caddying, and we're like, what in the world's this movie about? Sharks and whatever? Yeah. And so we went home and we watched the CBS News, and they did a story about how this movie was. People, they would, like in the beginning, they showed people jumping and whatever, and we're going, all right, we got to go see it. I'll never forget, I went to see the movie. It was a packed theater, and I probably needed Depends. It scared the living out. It was amazing.
Yes.
What a movie. And it just, you know, you think about how suspenseful it was. You know, like, I think we need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
And some of the way it was shot.
Cinematography was
great.
great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at the shark today when you watch the movie, and you can see that it's, you know.
Of course you can.
But back then, oh.
I really truly believe that Spielberg and those guys, I think they finally came to the realization, because they spent the first half of the movie, you never saw the shark. But they knew once you saw the shark, you weren't going to quite totally believe it was a shark. So at least they limited the shark's airtime, you know what I mean, or screen time, which I think was smart.
The way that movie opened with those kids.
Yeah.
And that girl's in the water
swimming,
and then you're just like first person. You're the shark, and you're hearing that do, just the way they did that music, and then boom, and then her just, you know, that's the way it is. When the shark hits you, boy, you
dude, I've never been an ocean guy, because as I've always said, there's stuff in the ocean that not only will kill you, but then eat you.
It's their home. What would you do if someone came in your home?
I wouldn't kill them and eat them. That's for damn sure.
Well, it depends on if it's.
I might kill them, but I wouldn't eat them.
It depends
on.
Let me put it that way. What if it's a nice walleye trying to break into the house?
Well, you mean if it was an animal coming into?
Yeah. But I mean, no, it.
I see where you went there.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, let's backtrack and get back on track.
Yes.
Let's back up to the roundhouse and turn the engine around and go another direction.
We're going to talk trains now?
No, we're going to talk. We could. The bottom line is, you know why I got you on? Because number one, you're one of my great friends. Have been for
a long time.
Decades.
Spanning
2 centuries.
Do you remember the first time I met you?
Yeah, you were playing golf with Lee Velicities. Y'all both had stylized, what did you call those? Perm hairdos, because you were trying to be the next Lee Velicities at Channel 10. And my buddy Dennis Feely, the late great Dennis Feely, and I were playing golf at Raymond Memorial Golf Course, and you guys came up. Of course, we were walking. Y'all, of course, TV types, were in a golf cart, and you wanted to know if y'all could play through. And of course, Lee Velicities hit his drive there on number 18, little dogleg left, and you hit your drive, and then you threw your club farther than your ball went.
I don't know that that's
I remember
true.
that like it was 5 seconds ago.
I don't know if that's true.
No, it went farther than your ball. You talking about that part? It went farther than your golf ball did.
I might have had anger issues.
It looked like a shillelagh going through the air. But the bottom line is, you were fresh out of Otterbein College, and trying to become a TV personality.
Now a university. Yeah.
And a year later, you were on the air big time.
Yeah, but I also remember when you were first event I ever met you at covering, we were down at Ohio University covering OU's basketball team.
Was that against...
and the coach was, what was his name?
Danny Nee.
Danny Nee.
Yeah.
You and I were interviewing Danny Nee, and that was like one of my first gigs ever, and I'm going, and I loved your accent.
Oh. Yeah.
Tim May, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, but see, I didn't do TV or radio then.
Nobody did. That's what I just said. As he was setting this camera up, folks, I said, would you ever have thought 100 years ago when you got into newspaper with the Columbus Dispatch, you would be setting up a camera doing this? But Timmy, let me just tell you about Timmy. He's been a Renaissance man from day one. When John Wolfe,
Renaissance,
when the great John Wolfe decided we needed to converge.
Yeah.
Because, they had the newspaper, the radio, and the television, and we all needed to converge, and this guy was the first. And I knew the second he came on, because you and I have been doing TV for 25, 30 years.
A long time.
And I mean,
I appreciate the opportunity.
Well,
no,
you know what?
I also enjoyed doing it.
It made, not that you didn't have a big following in the paper, but television made you huge, because he'll go, Dommy, I'll never forget when he first started, he goes, I was just in the Kroger or the Giant Eagle or wherever, and someone came up and said, "Man, I love watching you." But you know,
love watching you two guys. I mean, we've had it going on for a while. And I enjoyed it. I like how you're dovetailing back to what I want to talk to, because you and I are going to do more of these later in the future. Someday we're going to do more of these, because there's a lot we can reminisce about.
Oh yeah,
that's really interesting that maybe we couldn't sometimes have reported or done, but now, you know, when you get to be crotchety and an old guy like I am, you know, you talk about a lot of things. But I wanted to ask you this. We don't have a whole lot of time here on this one. I'm just going to jump right into it. You've covered a lot of coaches at Ohio State, and we'll talk about that in some other opportunities. But the relationship you've got with Ryan Day, I think, is special, both for you and for Ryan Day, and especially last year when a lot of crap was hitting the fan. I still don't curse, even though this is a podcast. A lot of crap was hitting the fan, and but you're like me, I think. You feel really good for this guy.
Well,
because we both know we've covered all kinds of guys, right? This guy, and I'm not ranking him, but this guy's different in his own way. He's a real human being who and is an accommodating guy to a certain extent, but you really want to see him do well. Am I wrong about that? I mean, I know I've always liked him. He's always been a good guy to me. You know what I mean? When he didn't have to be.
Right.
And still is. And so just give us your take on Ryan Day in a nutshell.
You know, I knew early on that he was an elite coach.
Yes.
I mean, you don't coach in the National Football League if you're not elite. And his football IQ is through the roof. He cares. He genuinely cares. I sometimes think he cares too much, because, you know, when you take this job, you know, you're leading the biggest university in the nation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing bigger than Ohio State. And what makes Ohio State so great sometimes makes it bad, because people are so passionate. I think from a media standpoint, I mean, there's a lot of media coverage, but I think all in all, the media is pretty good here. It's not like what the NFL is. You know, they call the NFL mafia, you know, because when you get on the bet, and Coach Meyer found out how tough they could be.
Yep.
You root for a guy like Ryan Day because he cares. He's a family guy. I mean, and, you know, I think one of the neatest things I've seen is that, you know, he's a high school dad.
Yeah.
He's so excited about his son RJ, and he's playing at my alma mater, DeSales, and he's going to break every record there is when it comes to throwing the football. Now, it's, you know, he's going to do it, and he's going to set a bar that's going to be so high, but there wasn't much of a record, because when we were there, we were running the triple option, the wing tee, and whatever. I mean, if we threw the ball 3 times, it was amazing. DeSales was always known for, you know, being, the
ground oriented.
Yeah, the games
were very grounded.
The game,
DeSales.
It was like when Brian was at Hilliard Davidson.
Yeah.
You know, they were quick games, because they were running the ball. But no, and you know, his wife Nina, and you know, I met his father-in-law Stan, who was the basketball coach in southern New Hampshire, and
right.
It's just you're right. You know, we root for guys like that, and I'm not ranking them, because all the coaches that I've had the pleasure to cover, going all the way back to Earl Bruce,
even Woody.
And, you know,
you didn't cover Woody, but you got to know Woody.
I got to know Woody.
Yeah, like I did.
But I mean, you know, did I know Earl Bruce? Yeah. And did I have a special relationship? Yeah. I mean, he would get mad at me when he was coaching, but then, you know, when he passed, I had the honor of, you know, being up on the dais and emceeing his funeral.
Right.
Yeah. Did I know John? Do I know John Cooper? Yeah. John Cooper is one of my dear friends. Moose and I and Coop and Earl, we played golf every Friday morning for all those years.
Yep.
But Ryan Day, you're right. But I think the thing I like most about him is that he's got a sense of humor. And you know, you think about the pressure, because there's pressure with this job. You know that.
Oh yeah.
And he handles it.
Yep.
And you know, you just root for him. And to the fans, I would say, we've got to learn that nobody wants to win all their games more than that guy.
It's his job.
I mean, that's, you know, his livelihood. And he wants to beat that team up north more than anyone.
Yes.
And it hasn't worked out that way. But don't tell me, and I get a little passionate about this, Tim, because let's not talk about the sanctity of the game when you can play those guys 3 times in a month now.
Yeah, exactly.
Those days are over. We all grew up, and no one appreciated the 10-year war more than me. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and I love watching Bo and Woody. But I'm going to tell you a couple inside stories about those two guys. A, they loved each other. I mean, Bo Schembechler would have done anything for Woody Hayes.
Yep.
I think you and I think we're up there when we were at Weber sitting around the table, and Bo Schembechler was talking about Woody and said that if Woody ever wanted to come to a Michigan game and talk to his football team, he would allow him to do it.
Yep.
And some old writer, I can't remember, said, you know, he said Woody could sit anywhere he wanted in the big house. And the guy said he couldn't have my seat, and Bo turned and looked and said, oh, yes, he could. He could have any seat he wanted. And that's the way Bo felt. But Woody felt the same way. But they had this big facade because that they whatever. But,
Yep. I'm just going to be your yep man.
No, but I mean,
I'm with you. You're right. But you're exactly right. Getting back to Ryan though, Ryan, now everybody who follows Woody, you know, who follows Earl, who had a winning record against Michigan, who follows Cooper, who didn't, 2-10-1, but he didn't get fired because of the Michigan game. I mean, he went 2-10-1. You know what I mean? And hung on. But then Jim Tressel, who won every, you know, all but one game against Michigan,
and Urban,
and then Urban, who won every game against Michigan. You've got that pack you're wearing on your back that they hand you when you become the head coach at Ohio State. It's called the Michigan pack, and every time you don't win, they add a brick to it, right? Staying in that genre, so it becomes heavy, but it's not as heavy. I'm with you. I contend things have changed. It takes a while. When you're turning a big, huge ocean liner.
Oh, I know.
To turn it. But we both know last year was a great example of what the modern college football is all about. Is Ohio State lost 2 games last year and won the national championship. It had the best team in the country when it mattered most, which was when the playoffs started. Not the day of the Michigan game, did not have the best football team in the country, or the best plan, let's put it that way, right? But the point is, Ryan Day learned from that. Ryan Day had a team meeting, I don't know why I'm whispering, because everybody knows about it, where it was him and the players. He let the players vent. He vented a little and also did a little bit of a mea culpa with them. Point is, he is a true modern day college football coach. Then he let the team find its own way, left the room. What did that team do? It was unstoppable for 4 straight games. I told him in his office like a couple months later when I did an interview with him, that's one of the great coaching jobs in history. What happened there? The turnaround that happened there.
Hollywood couldn't have written a better screen.
People can ad nauseum talk about the $20 million payroll that Ohio State. Well, there were other schools that probably had bigger payrolls than that last year, but they didn't. Their athletic director didn't let other people know about it. The bottom line was they turned it around. But you can say, well, the players finally played the way they were supposed to play. He's still the head coach. Woody had some of the most talented teams in history in the mid-'70s. They didn't win a national championship.
It's hard.
Because he got in the way a couple times. And it's hard. Now, you can make the playoff and have 2 losses. And then you can win the national championship. Times have changed. But the biggest thing is what you just said a while ago. They could play Michigan this year. And if Michigan runs the table, they could play Michigan again the next week for the Big Ten championship. And they could play them again
in the playoff.
In the college football playoff. So, folks,
it's ridiculous.
Times have changed.
Here's the other thing, and I want to go back, and I'll give you my opinion.
I hope so, because that's why I got you on here.
I know, and Ryan Day wants to beat that team up north.
Yeah, he does.
He wants to beat them.
Yes, he does.
But I don't know what happened, but this is my belief as to what happened. They didn't play. First time he played them and beat them.
Yeah.
Second time they were going to play, they canceled the game.
COVID.
Then they play, and the week before they play, and Ohio State was kind of iffy that year, but the week before they play, Mel Tucker comes in here with Michigan State, ranked team, and Ohio State ran them out of that stadium.
A team for the ages, because he had all those transfers, transfer portal, etc.
I mean, they just...
Kenneth Walker the third. Or
it was like an embarrassment. It wasn't even close. And I think that moment, Ohio State felt like, hey, we've arrived. They go into Ann Arbor, and they get smacked in the mouth. And I think they were all in shock.
Yep.
Jim Harbaugh, I will give him credit. He knew what he was doing. Starts running his mouth. The whole third baseline stuff.
Yes.
And Ohio State's not tough, and they're not physical.
Yeah.
Well, I think that got into Ryan's head and made him angry, as it would make me angry. The guy's, beats me, and then he's
It wasn't
running.
necessarily all Jim Harbaugh. Some of his assistant
They were
coaches.
all running their mouths.
Correct.
We find out also that they might have been getting a little inside information.
They were in the early years of getting an advantage.
Well, I think from that moment you heard, Ryan got, everything was going to be about that game.
Yeah.
And it was stamina and competitiveness and physical and all that. Look. And Ryan needs to block all that noise out. I think he needs to block out all the noise that when you play this game, you got to be physical and you got to run the football.
Yeah.
And you got to, you know what?
But he knows that.
I think when you look at your football team, and if you got a garage full of Ferraris and you're playing a garage full of dump trucks,
Station wagons.
turn them loose.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Don't listen to you know what? Yeah, when Bo and Woody, it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust and all that. You take, you know what? I remember 2006, what that game was like with 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that they ran the ball.
Hey, but I don't mean to be quick jump in there, but you remember our one of our favorite people, John F. Wolf.
Yeah.
I remember him cornering me after I got back from the national championship game that year, and he goes, Tim, I know this isn't popular. This isn't the popular way of looking at it, and people aren't going to, he's saying this to me, people aren't going to look at it like this. But you know what? When you get up for like what's supposed to be the game of the century, and you win that game, it's human nature to think you have achieved the utmost. Then you go out, and you're playing a team that a lot of people thought shouldn't even have been there like 5 weeks earlier.
Florida.
But they figured out a way to get there under Urban Meyer because of the serendipity that happened for them. And they end up in the playoff game with you. And they're not undefeated. They're not the best team in the country. And you're hearing all this great stuff. Your quarterback has won the Heisman Trophy. This is the publisher for our paper, right? He understood. He was, everybody had talking about people having the wrong idea about John F. Wolf, a lot of people. We can get into that some other time. But it is, even he pointed it out, but nobody wanted to hear that, because you got to beat 41-14, not 41-40. It doesn't always, no matter how much you plan, no matter how much you get ready for one thing, there's always another challenge coming around the corner. But that doesn't mean you're not taking the game seriously.
Oh, no.
Ryan Day, that losing 4 straight to your rival, and especially with everything that's gone on up there since 2021, the NCAA investigation into a guy that you knew was giving you an advantage. You're acting like you never even knew this guy existed. You know who we're talking about. Connor Stallions and then their head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Of course, that rankles a guy like Ryan Day.
And I agree. There has been things throughout this rivalry that has made this rivalry what it is. The break-in before the game where helmets were taken and, supposedly Ohio State going up to Ann Arbor and Woody not allowing the guys to flush toilets because Bo had messed with the pipes, and then Bo saying, what about when we took a cold shower after the game, and just all the stuff.
Or the police dogs inspecting the Michigan equipment as it came in that one year.
But all that, yes, makes the rivalry. But this, what happened, what we witnessed.
Yes.
I can't imagine Bo Schembechler
Nope.
would have been proud of what happened. Because listen, everybody's looking for an advantage. The old saying is, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Everybody is whatever. But this was beyond anything anyone had ever seen before. But, I mean, should we be surprised in today's modern world with technology and everything that's out there, Tim? I mean, the guy who's considered the greatest NFL coach ever, they were recording practices of their opponents, yes or no?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
evidently
something was going on there because they got penalized for it. We're talking about you're talking about Bill Belichick in New England.
Yeah, supposedly something happened there, right?
Well, you've heard rumors all through life, all through the years about different coaches having different advantages about spying, skunking guys' practices, things like that. I won't get into all that right now, but everybody's always tried to find the edge. But this was an explicit breaking of an NCAA rule that Michigan
went
did.
Beyond.
Right. The live scouting of your upcoming opponent, which why they banned all that, was for money-saving purposes. But, if you can get if you can get somebody to go and videotape the other team's signals,
I mean, they all try to steal signs. I mean, it's been in baseball. I mean, But
I don't want to go down that road. Bottom line is, they got found guilty. Ohio State had to give up a bowl game, had to give up a bowl trip in 2012.
For what?
For in 2010, players trading gold pants for tattoos.
That was then, this is now.
Which gave you very little of an advantage, the way I understand it, unless you had the other team's playbook tattooed on your arm.
That was then, this is now. And in the world of NIL, and in the world of, hey, you need to bring in as much money as you can.
Yeah, almost anything goes anymore. Bottom line is, we'll see where this all goes. I want to get into you real quick, though, before we're done here. You've gotten to cover some special moments in Ohio State football history. To watch a team, for the first time in history, have to win 4 straight games to win a national championship, that's got to be number one, I would think. I mean, I'm talking about just an achievement of a team that was given up for dead, almost for dead, at the end of the regular season. Where did last year rank in your annals?
I have said this before, and some people have argued with me, but it is the greatest run ever.
Yeah.
In the history of college football.
College football.
I think, everyone goes, well, maybe at Ohio State. No, college football. Name another program that played that many ranked teams.
2 of them from the Southeastern Conference, ladies and gentlemen.
4 of them. But forget, before that you had Michigan. Before that you had Indiana. I mean, you had
a trip to Oregon.
Yeah, you had that. That was something.
Yes, a win over Penn State.
I mean, it was magical. And as I said earlier, and we've talked, Hollywood could not have written a better script. That team was dead and gone. No one was giving it the time of day. And that's why I give Ryan Day all the credit in the world, because you know what? That meeting he had, whatever they figured out there, those kids bought in. And let's give the credit to the kids, because they're the ones that had to go out and execute.
Yeah.
Coaches put the kids in a position to hopefully win, and then they got to go execute it. And I thought the coaching was outstanding in that run. That's a magical season. No question. But where I rank it, it is number one. But then I think back about 2002.
Yes.
And how many games Jim Tressel could have lost that year.
Yes.
Should have lost at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Holy Buckeye at Purdue.
Yeah, Illinois, first overtime game in Ohio State history.
Northwestern. I mean, it just was one after another. And, I think it's funny you bring up that 2006. I go back to 2002, and the roles were reversed.
Yes.
Because we get there and everyone's laughing that Ohio State is going to get run out this great Miami team.
Right.
And I mean, these guys are like, and Ohio State had the slowest burn you've ever seen. Those guys were so mad that they were being disrespected. and they went out and they won that game. It was absolutely amazing. And
Yeah.
and you know, they don't win that game if it's not for Maurice Clarett.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy deserves a lot of credit for that game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the biggest play in the game, he scored the game-winning touchdown. But when they lost that ball and he took it
Sean
back,
Taylor.
and took it back and got it back.
Yes.
I
Oh,
mean-
unbelievable. All kinds of unbelievable stuff happened in that game, like it usually.
But
you know,
then in 2006, the roles are reversed, like you said,
Right.
and Ohio State. And you know what? Jim Tressel used 2002 as motivation. You always want an angry team.
Yeah.
And he had an angry team going, they're laughing at us. There's whatever. And then 2006, the roles reversed, and a guy named Urban Meyer,
Yep.
who we know loves coaching an angry team,
yes.
and disrespected like you. I remember they were saying we should just play Michigan again. They're better than
Oh
Florida.
yeah. Everybody was saying.
Florida,
I kept going. No. Yeah.
and then
Oh, that was
got run out. We had that opening kickoff where
Ted Ginn
Ginn
Jr.
runs it back, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, we're going to beat that."
Roy Hall tackles him in the end zone, sprained ankle, and next thing you know, like I remember asking
Oh,
Urban
my
after
goodness.
that game, I said, you know, what do you think it was like Ohio State losing Ted Ginn? Because Jim Tressel had all kinds of things planned for Ted Ginn Jr. in that game. And he said, well, imagine us losing Percy Harvin. I go, that's a great example. Finally it comes down to the Jimmies and the Joes, correct?
oh.
As Woody Hayes was the first to tell you. Real quick, too, I wanted to ask you this, though. It's really funny because Ohio State, when you think about it, beat 6 of the teams that were in the playoffs last year. They beat Penn State, right? They beat Indiana. That was before the playoffs. Then those 2 teams made the playoffs, and they beat the 4 teams. I mean, that's crazy when you think about that stat. It's nuts what Ryan Day and his coaching staff got straightened out, and the team got straightened out. Before we move on and get done with this, I want to ask you this year's team. What's the sense you have of this year's team and what Ryan thinks he's got?
I think the guys are hungry.
Yeah.
I think they got a taste of it, and I give Ryan Day all the credit in the world, Tim, from this standpoint. I was a little surprised he said it. And I think some people were maybe taken aback that he said it, but he flat out said there's been a lot of great coaches here that have won national championships, but none of them have won back-to-back, and we want to be the first.
Right.
He's leading that parade. Look, they know they have talent on this football team. They got to keep them healthy.
Yep.
They got a rookie quarterback that they're going to bring on. I think the best hire that he made in the offseason is Matt Patricia,
Amen.
because Matt Patricia allows Ryan to go back and be the quarterback coach,
Do whatever he
emeritus,
needs to do. Yeah.
and to be really involved with the offense.
The head coach of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, and Matt Patricia, he didn't want to have to mess with the defense.
Right.
And he's got, and I love Matt Patricia. There's another family man, and all the nonsense that people were saying. There's a lot. I have come to the conclusion there's a lot of people out there in the public airways that have no clue what they're talking about.
Of course there are.
Clueless.
Yeah.
And just say stuff.
Not
that
just
is
the public air. Not just the. Oh, you're talking about the public airways, as in the media.
social media, all that.
Exactly.
They're just clueless.
Yeah, just
Clueless.
look up stuff instead of just spouting.
Oh my goodness. But I think this football team, and you know, I always tell people, what do your eyes tell you? You know, when you watch, you can tell.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, this football team's got 2 quarterbacks they could win with. You and I are both high on both those guys.
Yep.
Unfortunately, only one can play.
Yep.
But I think there's going to be packages down the road where Lincoln Keyholtz is going to get involved more.
Yep.
And I mean, there's stuff coming, I think.
What would John Cooper say? You don't put it in, you work it in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working it in.
They're working it in. But I just think that they have talent, stay healthy. That offensive line, I've been really impressed with. They got a rookie quarterback, and they're keeping that kid clean.
Yep.
The running game, Bo Jackson, and it's like everyone's going, oh, he's a freshman. Archie Griffin was a freshman.
Maurice Clarett was a
freshman. You know what? As Coop says, if a dog bites,
he bites as a pup.
Amen. We've been around that guy a lot. But I mean, that's what they've got. They've got more talent, but having the talent's not the only thing you need.
Correct.
You got to be put in a position to win. That's on the coaches. and you got to stay healthy.
Yep.
And right now they're staying healthy. But I like this look, Vegas isn't wrong too often. They've got Ohio State as a favorite to repeat.
Yep.
But I love the attitude of Ryan Day saying, I want to be the first. But his players, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, those guys who are the leaders of this team, take all that stuff down. That was last year. Now
Right.
we want to be our own guys.
Brandon Ennis.
They
all those
know
guys.
this is their turn now.
Yep.
To be like Will Howard and those guys, and and this is their. I think Ohio State has as good a chance as anyone to win the national title this year, but I think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I really do. I just have a funny feeling.
And what Ryan said, back in the spring, he goes, they're inexperienced. The inexperience was obvious, but he says, but he didn't shy away from this. But it's a talented football team, and that's the point. Is the talent is obvious when you look around, and the depth on the offensive line. It's like the depth in tight end has never been in our lifetime. We've never seen 5 tight ends play in one game. I'm talking about actually on offense.
Look at the talent.
Not special teams roles and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's across the board. If they get the running back thing truly figured out, which you just hinted to, it could happen.
Bo Jackson's pretty good.
But C.J. Johnson's been pretty good. James Peoples the guy that needs to get on the beam a little bit. But the bottom line is they've got talent there.
Competition brings out the best, and if I'm Peoples, I'm saying, because you're right, C.J. Donaldson, I like that kid too. He's a hard runner.
Yes.
He seems to be the guy you put on the goal line. He'll bowl his way in. Everyone talked about Peoples being like, this next
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. He can be.
He can be. Yeah.
And hopefully he gets, hopefully this competition will bring out the best of him, because I'm tell you what.
Yep.
We did pretty good last year with the 1-2 punch of Trey and Quinshawn.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the trifecta with these guys.
Well, they need a running game, and Brian Hartline's left no doubt that they were going to. Yeah, exactly. Everybody thought Brian Hartline was going to be a play caller, and every other play was going to be a pass. Weren't paying attention to guys like me and you telling them what was coming with Brian Hartline. He understands what's needed. Last year was a great, as he brought up again this week. Last year was a great blueprint of what's needed. You got to be able to run the football.
You got to be able to run the football, and you got to be smart enough to realize sometimes the pass opens up the run.
Correct.
Sometimes the run opens up the pass. But I think about the playoff run and that little dump-off pass against Texas
screen
to Trey, and then boom. Oh, my goodness, it's a touchdown. That's the kind of stuff that can happen, and I think is going to happen. But I think the end around, if you listen to Tim and I, and listen, I got 44 years in, you've got
100.
No, what do you got?
Doing what? Covering Ohio State? 42.
So 42 and 44, we've got a couple years. I often tell people, if Tim and I aren't saying it's probably not true.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying.
But I never like to go around saying that. But
well, I tell our people.
You don't just. Yeah. The thing is, you got to know what you're. That sounds like self-aggrandizement.
I'm just saying. Dizzy.
But you were exactly right.
Dizzy Dean said, if it's not bragging if you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, our eyes are not lying. This is a pretty good football team.
Yeah.
And Ryan, and I will go back to this. Ryan Day is an elite coach, and he has a staff of elite coaches.
Yep.
We talk about Matt Patricia, but I'm going to tell you what, Timmy Walton, who you and I covered, who played for John Cooper.
Yep.
This guy is a football genius as well. And the kid, here's the biggest thing you need to remember when it comes to the coaches. The players love them.
Yep.
And in today's world of NIL and the transfer portal, where you can get your feelings hurt and say, I'm leaving tomorrow, it is important.
On a private jet.
Yeah, it is important that you have coaches that the players feel
respect,
indebted to,
yes,
and respect, and feel like they're family. And that's what I think it's amazing. that they had no one get out of here after spring.
Right.
Nobody left.
Of consequence.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all stayed. And don't think in today's world there's people not saying,
Knock, knock.
hello, Jeremiah. Hey, Brandon, Ennis. You know, don't think that stuff doesn't happen. And the fact that Ryan Day has kept those guys here.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
he's an elite coach, folks.
Yep. This is real quick.
This is actually fun. Us reminiscing.
I know, but I keep telling people. I mean, because you're going to look back 25, 30 years from now, and maybe this will just keep going ad infinitum. Who knows? These are the golden years of Ohio State football. When you look at it from a national championship generating standpoint, or past that, being in the run for national championships, being in the run of putting on entertaining football games, of not 3 hours in a cloud of dust, but being a total football program from the standpoint of everything they've got going on, from the NIL to the revenue sharing to being ahead of the game for the most part, most of the time, but then also producing on the field. These are going to be the golden years, my man. And
they are bringing in the best talent.
Yes.
And now that, Ohio State has embraced it, we're in this world. The genie's out of the bottle. And I know, and we can debate one time whether I like it or not. I don't really like some of the stuff that's going on.
Of course not.
But
some of it's good.
Some of it's good.
Some of it you had coming.
But I'm going to tell you what, schools like Ohio State, schools like Michigan, the schools in major industrial areas are going to do well. The SEC, I think some of their programs are going to have a hard time.
Even Alabama's talking about keeping up from the NIL standpoint and things like that.
Well, it's agriculture.
Difficult.
Agriculture states.
No. There's a Mercedes-Benz factory right up the road from Tuscaloosa.
I know, but
no. I know what you're saying.
You don't have.
We're talking about Buckeye Nation. Is what you're talking about. The largesse, the breadth of Buckeye Nation is
the whole country.
It's a real thing, and the just the number of big time companies, just like you said, within a 30-mile radius of Ohio State.
What's Mississippi got?
Yeah, exactly. What's Starkville got? What's Ole Miss?
What's Alabama got other than the couple car plants?
Well,
there's industry up in north. I'm sorry. There's oil in Texas.
Yes.
There's oil in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's deep money.
There's money at Nike. You know what I mean? When it comes to Oregon, right on down the line. So you're right. You're right.
I love Bear Bryant, and again. That was then. This is now. It is what it is.
Did I ever tell you about running into Bear Bryant's leg? I'll get to that story next time me and him are together. But I did that. My big brother Ben and I used to run a 100-yard dash after Alabama home.
He was worried we couldn't go half an hour.
Yeah.
We're going.
No, I was worried you didn't have time because I know you're a busy dude.
Anything for the Tim May show.
Dom, let's cut it off right here, right now. Cold turkey.
Okay, whatever you want.
I appreciate you coming on the Tim May Show finally. I appreciate you getting permission. That's kind of like the Pope asking somebody else for permission. Can I go on this show?
This guy, and I'm going to tell you folks.
Why does the Pope have to ask for permission?
This guy forgot more about Ohio State football than anyone will know. This guy.
That's why I have you to bring me back up to speed.
Yeah, no.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is what you get a lot. Timmy, you hearing anything?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Dom Tiberi. We'll see him again, I'm sure. Man, I really appreciate Dom Tiberi joining us. I appreciate him getting permission to join us from Matt Fishman, who runs things there at the Channel 10 / 97.1 The Fan Sports Department. And we've got a question. Go ahead, questioner.
Do I have time for a shark story? It's
yes.
Very brief.
Yeah.
My folks lived in Sarasota. My dad had a boat he called the Serendipity.
Ooh.
We went out on the Intercoastal Waterway. We're coming back to shore, I think, to get something to eat or this, that, or the other. And I took a step off into the very, very shallow water, and it was like a little baby shark. And that's as close as I've gotten. I don't want to be any closer, but
Wow.
My dad had a little bit of, he saw it too. And luckily, I don't know, they can feel you, but he was looking that way. And I kind of boom with my foot.
And he took off?
And he took off. But anyway, it was a little moment there.
As I pointed out to Dom in that interview, I don't go in the ocean. I never have been an ocean guy. I went deep sea fishing one time when I was like, I think I was 19, and off Galveston in Texas. And I said, I'll never do that again because it was.
I know.
Now I should have thrown up, but I didn't. If I'd thrown up, I probably would have felt better. But you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
But the reason I don't go, because big water can kill you, but there are things in the water that will kill you and eat you. You know, there's a big difference between that and going bass fishing.
That day we caught the strangest looking fish I've ever seen. I'll have to bring it one time. But
there you go, right there.
I'm a beach guy. I'm a little bit of a water guy.
I knew you were a bum, but now I know you're a beach bum.
I am a beach bum. My wife as well.
Yeah.
So we enjoy that, but no, I'm not going 30 feet out and get the undertow and goodbye, Clay.
No.
Sorry you missed your game.
Now I say that, and used to go snorkeling on a few trips, especially
did you?
When we went to Hawaii one trip way back in '89, and we went on a cruise one time, went snorkeling off Jamaica and all those places. So I'm kind of lying that I won't go in the ocean.
Yeah.
But I'm not really, because I don't think I've been in the ocean in 30 years, 25 years. So, and I remember one time we drove down to Disney and came back and stopped at Fernandina Beach up on Amelia Island for a night, and we let our kids get in the ocean there, the Atlantic Ocean there, for we're going to be for like 20 minutes, and then they begged for another 5 to 10 minutes. We said okay. 3 minutes later, my middle kid Corey, who you literally can hit with a ball bat, and he'll just go ooh. You know what I mean? He's that tough.
Yeah.
Came screaming out of the water.
My.
And we'd already seen a manatee go by.
Yeah.
And he came screaming out of the water. Well, a jellyfish or two had wrapped themselves around his torso.
Oh, boy.
And
I've seen that.
So, wow. And we were basically going to be getting into the car after cleaning up and driving on back to Columbus, because I had to be back for a Jim Trussell press conference. I don't know why my priorities were so screwed up back then that I had to get back for this Jim Trussell press availability when I should have said to hell with it.
On the arrival of my second child, I was scheduled to, this is late July, when all the teams are rolling out their alumni parties.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the clock. I had a live shot scheduled with Jackie Sherrill, and my wife is like, if you leave here,
right,
I'm just warning you.
Yeah.
And
by the way, they're still married.
And 43 years. And literally Parker arrived at about 25 minutes before I was supposed to be in this thing, Women's Hospital in Jackson. And I hugged him. I loved him. I told her, what a job, and got in the car and made the live shot. But these are the things we do
that make no sense. In retrospect, they make no sense.
Yeah. In the moment.
That's what Dom and I were talking about that. Dom and I were talking about that at one point before we actually started rolling today, is like the priorities we set back then. Cause you're working hard. You're trying to, you're not just doing your job. You're trying to keep your job. Right.
That's right.
I mean, and these things come and go, there's a new headline every day though. There's a new headline every day.
Yeah.
And the world moves so fast, but it's just the things you gave priority to. Now you look back, I don't hardly miss a thing with my grandsons if I can help it.
Yeah.
And I, be honest with you, I hardly missed a thing with my kids, my 3 kids too. I made almost every baseball game and every football game.
I missed all.
And every band thing for my daughter. She even ran track a little bit, and taking after my wife. But yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad I hurried. You made things back then, but
right.
I digress. Hey, real quick, speaking of this weekend, speaking of being harried, speaking of being able to spend time with your family, here's what I plan to do. I plan to watch at least 4 football games.
At least.
On television, because I have the, quote, weekend off of going to an Ohio State football game. Number one on my list is Illinois at Indiana.
Nah, not for me.
Well, I'm just saying.
All right.
This is a huge game for these two teams. Who knew 3 years ago Illinois at Indiana was going to be a huge game in 2025?
I'm more interested in Michigan and Nebraska.
Well, I'm just talking about this. Right. This has implications.
The
stakes, I think, are higher for either of those other two teams. I like Michigan at Nebraska also because Biff Poggi, or Poggi, excuse me, Biff Poggi.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it. The fill-in coach for Sharon Moore, who was the fill-in coach for Jim Harbaugh way back when, a couple of years ago.
Be at practice this week.
No, he hadn't been able to. Unlike Harbaugh, got to do everything but be on the sidelines at the games during his quote suspensions, end quote.
That's a good showdown.
Sharon Moore has not been allowed to be with a team, I think, since they got back from their road trip to Oklahoma.
I think that's right. So you got Raiola against Bryce Underwood. It's going to be a great one.
Correct. And two young quarterbacks. One's a freshman, Bryce Underwood. Raiola was a guy that committed to Ohio State, changed his mind, committed to Georgia, changed his mind, ended up in Nebraska, where I think one of his uncles is a coach.
He is.
And the bottom line is, I think he's a smooth operator. We'll see how this game goes. Nebraska, Matt Rule. It's in his third year. Do I have that right?
That is, I believe that's what I got.
Well, anyway, bottom line is, if not now, when? This is the kind of game you should win.
Home game.
Because Michigan is not the Michigan of 2 years ago. I would like to say it's not the Michigan of last year, but they weren't very good last year, except they beat Ohio State and they beat Alabama in the bowl game.
Unreal.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure. I would say they underachieved.
Otherwise, they're 6 and 7 or some crazy thing.
They underachieved though. When you figure, when you talk about that, but the bottom line is, if Nebraska, has always been lacking defense. That's the thing since the Frank Solich years. Who took Tom Osborne's place. They've never gotten back to that defensive kind of team.
That black shirt.
The black shirt. They've called them the black shirts on occasion, but too bad for the other black shirts who were probably besmirched by that. Kind of like the silver bullets thing that Ohio State went through.
That went away and now back.
Yeah. But Ohio State kept winning, for the most part.
For sure.
But the bottom line is, can Nebraska get to a bowl game, 54-40 or fight? I think was the Toledo thing long ago. But the bottom line is, can Nebraska finally win a game?
A big game.
A big game. But is this a big game?
Yeah.
Right.
Because Michigan, you're right.
Right. Got blasted not blasted, but got handled by Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. And then I'm really curious about Florida at Miami. Miami's undefeated. A lot of people think it might be the best team in the country right now. And the funny thing is, I think Florida State's pretty damn good too, because Florida State has really resurrected itself. But Miami with Carson Beck, and then on both offensive and defensive lines, I think they're playing extremely well. They don't look like a lot of Miami teams in the recent past because they got some real bruisers at wide receiver.
Well, that's what makes this Gator job so tough. Yeah, you're going to play your 8 SEC teams, then you're going to play Florida State and Miami.
Yeah, you just came off a loss to LSU, and now you're playing at Miami.
That's everything.
Yeah,
it's too much.
So
they're getting paid.
But Billy Napier, wow, you finally do have to put up or shut up a little bit. But you just hope your quarterback doesn't throw 5 interceptions again, or if I have 5 turnovers, that kills you. And of course, the game I'm definitely going to watch is Washington at Washington State. It's not supposed to be much of a game, but you never know. It's the Apple Cup.
Well, that's right. And Mike Leach loved that game. UW, by the way, the radio voice, if I'm not mistaken, Tony Castricone, a 97.1 alum, has been doing that for at least 5 years, I think.
Yeah, for a while.
I'm sure you may bump into him.
Yeah, in next week.
That is a pretty cool place to watch a football game.
Absolutely.
With that crazy overhang.
On both sides. Yeah.
It's wild.
Like I said, it's like an old time fairgrounds bleachers.
Racing?
Bleachers, where they had the overhang for the crowd. But it makes it really loud. That's the thing that really catches the sound and kind of throws it out toward the field.
It does.
Which is crazy. Yeah. The overhang isn't totally over the stands. It kind of comes about 2/3 of the way, maybe, or half the way, but then it does project. It's like a little amphitheater, for the not for the faint of heart. And it's really cool sitting up in that stadium in the press box. You can see the boats coming in.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, and then there and
it's quite
coming
a
off
setting.
Coming off the lake. It's really a saltwater lake, but it's a lake right there. It comes around. You can take a little canal from that. It goes to Lake Union and then goes out to the to Puget Sound. So, it's really sort of an isthmus, as Lou Holtz would say. It's really sort of an isthmus.
Well, the best view in Seattle. Go to the Seahawks Stadium. What do they call it? I don't know. But we were catching up with former Buckeye Kevin Griffin.
Oh, really?
Who worked for the Seahawks once upon a time, and like Brian Hartline. Here I am going again. Anyway, you look out over their top deck and you see the Puget Sound. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
But like Brian Hartline, who did the fish catching at Pike Place.
Pike Place Market.
I did it with Harley, Rob Harley, who's now a football coach, defensive coordinator at Northern Illinois, invading Stark Vegas
this weekend.
That probably was the coolest story maybe we ever did. And I'm throwing, he's catching, and then we reversed, and those things.
Wait a minute. I always had you pictured as a fishmonger. Go ahead now.
I like fish. No doubt about it. I like the fish and chips. At any rate, great fun. It was just a great trip. So Harley's now grounded as a defensive coordinator with Northern Illinois.
About as far away from an ocean as you can get.
My goodness. Yeah. But he's working his way up after working at Michigan State, Pitt, and Arkansas State. So that resume is growing. He's a DC, so now he's got a shot maybe positioning himself to be a head coach at some point.
Against one of the hottest teams in college football, ladies and gentlemen, Mississippi State.
Well, easy.
Right?
Yeah, we've had one good win. So
well, anyway.
We shall see.
Anyway, they're playing Northern Illinois, which once, long time ago,
Dave Doran
in a galaxy far, far away, went to Alabama and won. I think it was pre-Saban.
I have forgotten that.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So Northern Illinois has put out some teams over the years. I remember going all the way to Northern Illinois one time to cover the MAC championship. It ended up being the MAC championship game between, I think it was Miami of Ohio and Northern Illinois. And Bill Mallory was the head coach at Northern Illinois then. And
really? Pre-Indiana, of course.
I think it was. Yeah, it was pre-Indiana.
It had to be.
Yeah, it was I think it was year before because they ended up going to that California Bowl, which was played in Fresno. Remember the MAC champion got to go out there and stuff. And Northern Illinois is an interesting place. DeKalb, I mean, when they name a corn seed after you, after your town, that's right. You're in a farm town. But it is what it is. Hey, Clay, always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Have a great weekend, brother.
I hope you appreciate me coming on.
Of course I do.
There we go. And ladies and gentlemen,
he's our point guard.
Ladies and gentlemen, but you're my.
I don't know if he's a quarterback. You're definitely a point guard.
You're our Jeremiah Smith. There we go.
Get out of it.
But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, for Clay Hall, I'm Tim May. This has been the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall. We'll see you next time.